Exes and T fans. Hey guys, it is Danny here. And y'all, do I have something for you today? I'm so excited to have you guys with me today. I just can't thank everybody enough who is a part of this community. Everybody who has come and spoke their truth, who has come and just supported the community. I'm so grateful for everybody who has just been so great to everybody who's come forward. I get a lot of messages talking about who impacted them, or there are even people who message me after almost every single episode, like, oh my gosh, I really related to this person, or this person sounded amazing. So each and every person's story is truly making a difference, you guys. And I'm really excited to continue this journey with you guys and to see where it goes, because I feel like the more we speak out, the more noise we're making, hopefully the more of a difference that we're going to be making. So with that being said, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and get into my little disclaimer here that I have to say in order to not get sued. All right. So I just want to say I am not here to defame anybody. Okay. I'm here to speak on personal experiences, personal opinions, and anything that I talk about is either public knowledge, it is alleged, or it is information that was shared to me by a third party. Okay. So I'm not here to defame anybody. That is not my intention. That is not my goal. I am here to spread information based on my story, on other people's stories, and it's just spreading awareness. It's just here to speak our truths. Okay. So you guys, I got something in my email that completely surprised me. I wasn't expecting it. And to be totally honest, it threw me off. I was just amazed. So I actually got an audio sent to me. It was recorded, I would say probably around 2016, 2017, a time when I was in the business, y'all. Okay. And the person that is speaking in this audio is a platinum who was in my upline. I had totally forgotten that this person existed. And this person is the guy who brought in the club owner. Okay. You guys, when I play this audio, I'm going to say who it is. Okay. Normally I change names and I don't speak on specifics as far as people's identity. And I will say, like if you know situations, but the reason why I think it's imperative to say this person's name is because I'm actually going to be linking an article that is relevant to all of this information. Okay. So I have an audio that is a platinum whose name is Kyle Higgins. Okay, that is his real name. And he is the guy who brought in the club owner. And the reason why I'm so shocked about this is because I remember him and his wife and being so enthralled by them. I thought, oh my gosh, this couple, they brought in the club owner. They broke a diamond. Like, this couple is incredible. Like, I should be looking up to them. And I was supposed to respect them because they're in my upline, right? It's kind of that same concept of, oh, well, they're your family and you have to respect them kind of a thing. And we were never really told anything bad about these people. So by all accounts, I thought him and his wife were just great people. But as you learn more when you leave and you actually do your research, you start to realize just how sketchy some of these people are. Okay. So like I did last time, I'm going to be taking clips of the audio and reacting to it. And you guys, it's not a very long audio, but I just can't believe what I'm hearing. And you guys are going to be shocked as well. So with that being said, you guys, this is a night owl with Kyle Higgins in Tacoma around 2016 to 2017.
But then I saw he had this, like, when I watched him have too much success early and get stuck at the same pin for 3 years. Because he stopped listening to his coaches.
Oh.
So talent isn't enough. Have you guys heard of that book? It's a great book. But look, he got passed by tons of people, right? It's not about talent. Look at you. How long have you been in this?
I earned a spot in May last year.
May last year. And you're already in the top 10% in the country. You're fighting right now for the top 3%. Wow. It took 5 years.
Okay, so here we have Kyle Higgins just offering some wisdom to the people who are asking him questions, right? So, one of the things that you hear him say is about the club owner. So, that's who he's speaking about. How, it's not about talent. The club owner got stuck at a pin level for 5 years and he wasn't listening to his coaches. And this person who's asking him questions is basically asking him, like, okay, I want to go from eagle to double eagle, right? So he's using these terms, percentages, to make it sound like a big deal, right? So like the top 10%, the top 3%, right? So from my understanding is that the top 10% are eagles and double eagles. And then that top 3% are the platinums and above. So if you understand that differently, please correct me, let me know. However, this is just to make them sound like a big deal. It's really not. If we remember from before, Eagle and double eagle are both worldwide dream builder terms, and they mean eagle is 6 people in your downline and 12 people in your downline is double eagle. Of course, you're doing that twice, double. And it's not even a recognized pin from Amway. It's just Worldwide's way of making little leadership goals for people to make people feel like they are more important than they actually are. And then, of course, he's kind of like downgrading, of course, the club owner and making other people be like, oh, well, if he messed up, of course you can do it. It's not based on talent. So another way to just make it sound very, very romanticized, like, oh, this is possible. Like, if he could do it, you can do it.
My coach coaches you. He probably sees in you what I see. And that's important too. I saw it. I refuse to let fail, even though sometimes you look at your downline and you see. I'm just gonna say like tomfoolery, like you see ridiculousness, but you gotta see the best in them. And sometimes you gotta see it even when they can't even fathom it.
So, yet again, we are talking about him, how he saw the club owner, but he's also talking about how he didn't want to see one of his other downline who became a platinum fail. This guy was a single dude. I don't really know very many characteristics about this guy to make him like well known. He was a single guy who went platinum. That was downline from this Kyle Higgins guy. I guess if you know, you know. He's not really an important character here, but just him, I guess, continuing to be humble and to talk about how he had to see in his downline, even though they didn't see it for themselves. And again, he's talking about how humble he is and how we need to also be humble. We need to believe in our downline more than they believe in themselves.
This is real. I used to pray that Brad would someday know Ty Rustrom's name. I didn't care about myself because I'd been homeless, so I was mad at myself. So I was like, but Ty Rustrom, I'll do whatever it takes that Ty and Ann are free soon.
Okay, so this might be a little controversial. However, I did opt to not take the names out of this audio because I wanted you guys to understand the gravity of what is being said here. Okay. So Ty and Ann Rustrom are a couple who I don't know if they sponsored Kyle Higgins, but they're like his direct upline. And they were in my upline as well. They coached the club owner, and Brad is the crown guy. Okay. All of this is public information. You can look these people up. They even have their own websites that Worldwide created for them. So this is not anything that I am saying that is one, slanderous, and two, it's not speaking out of their character. I'm literally just naming them, okay? Anything that I have to say to not get sued. All right, all right. So basically what he's saying here is he's so humble, again, that he's showing how humble he is, that he didn't put himself first. He wanted to see Ty and Ann get recognized by Brad. Okay. So when I was in the business, Ty and Ann were emeralds. And at least that's what we were told. We were told that they were emeralds. And Brad, of course, is the crown. And if you guys don't remember, that a crown is like one of the higher pin levels. It's not the highest, but it's definitely up there. It's above diamond, double diamond, triple diamond, right? Then you have crown. So he's a big freaking deal. Okay. And so if you're called out by Brad, it is a very big deal within Worldwide. Like if he knows your name, obviously you are doing great things. And so he was like, well, I want to see them free too. And essentially what he's saying is he wanted to see them quit their job. Let's speak about that for just a quick second because, and this is, of course, information that I was told. I was not a part of Worldwide at any recent point. I left in 2019. So between the years of 2016 and 2019, Ty Rustrom actually left his job. They had a big retirement party for him, and I was there. Hey, him and his kids were wearing like superhero capes and like he was a big deal. Everybody spoke about him on stage. And it's funny because I've heard that recently he has had to go back to work. And I always wonder why. And the excuses I believe that they were given, at least the person who told me this, that is that he had a hard time connecting with people and needed to have a job so that way he could start sponsoring more people, right? So again, that's an excuse. But not only that, you guys, and again, all of what I'm about to tell you is public information. I looked up Ty and Ann Rustrum, and they are attached to a business that is patio coverings. But not only are they attached to it, so is the Syrian guy who also quit his job during that period of time. And they always tell us in the business, don't be double minded, don't have outside businesses, don't have outside investments. You guys, this is the only thing that you guys will ever need. All of your money is going to come from Amway. Okay. One, all of that is not true because their money is mostly coming from worldwide, from the apps, the memberships, the speaking events. And they don't tell you that. But not only that, why do they have to have these outside businesses and outside jobs if their business is, quote, thriving, right? So it's really interesting to hear all of that and know that now and look back and think, oh my God, all this information I was being heard, man, I can't believe I believed all of it. But of course, they tell us don't do your research. So it's going to be funny because I have some crazy information to tell you guys about Kyle coming up.
This is not about who's the best, but we're gonna have crownships after crownship.
Yeah.
So I wanted to add in this little tidbit. This is not Kyle speaking. This is, I believe, the person who's asking him questions who may have been an eagle, a double eagle. I don't remember. But basically what he's saying is that, oh, we are just going to create this mass amount of wealth. We're not just going to have platinums. We're going to have diamonds. We're going to have crownships. And that's really what they told us, is that what we're doing is going to create wealth all the way around. Okay. And it's really frustrating to look back and think that I thought that was possible. I really did. I was like, every person I'm bringing into this business, they're going to go platinum. They're going to go diamond. And if we were taught, if they don't, it's their fault. When quite literally, this system is designed to fail. Okay. If you look at the statistics in Amway's website, it is a very, very, very small percentage of people who even go platinum, let alone diamond and above. So they wanted us to believe all of these things that we are just supposed to see so much greater and have this unfathomable dream, right? When it's not possible. They just wanted to keep us having this false hope.
Thank you.
Hey, it's a blessing. And last thing I'd say is just put others first. Put others first. I don't think I'm contagious. I think I'm suffering from lack of sleep. But I came up here for him.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Because I wanted him to take that trip.
Oh boy, is it funny to hear Kyle Higgins talk about how humble he is. Oh, he is not about him, you guys, but he has continued to talk about himself the entire time. Of course, he's supposed to, right? We're asking him questions, and he continues to try to tell us how humble he is. He came here, he's sleep deprived, but he did it for this other guy. And you guys are going to laugh. You guys are going to laugh when you guys hear another portion of this audio, because you will see that Kyle Higgins is not the humble guy that he pretends to be.
Girls always, good for you not being in the estrogen circle.
Right there.
That's good. See, stand by your man.
Married up.
I'm trying to show Laura that.
Yeah.
Do you hear the misogyny that is happening just right out in the open, and all of the people who are around him like, of course, stupid girls, of course, and praising this girl who's not speaking to all the women, right? She's standing by her man. She's in Kyle's circle, right? And he's talking about how, he was trying to teach that to his wife too, which is so crazy. But here's a little tidbit. And if you were not in this organization, then this might be a foreign concept, because societally speaking, this is not how we function anymore. But in worldwide, men are supposed to speak with their men uplines, okay? Females, women, right? Girls are supposed to speak with their female upline, okay? And they infantilize women quite a bit. They talk about women in terms of girls. Like, the amount of times that I hear them say the word girls is so frustrating. But again, they're infantilizing women. They're making women seem like they are less than and almost dehumanizing us. But I digress.
Enter FED without being double. Wow. I'm close, but I need to surpass it by a couple legs. I need to.
Yeah.
So you gave me advice when we were talking about eagle.
Yeah.
You remember at the Red Lion?
Yeah.
And I wrote it down. This is the 4 things.
Yeah.
Now I need 8 things. Now I need for double eagle, because the thing is, as much as I love my guys,
Yeah.
they're not going to be all in.
Okay, so I added this in here just as a preface to the portion that is very important to this whole story, right? So this is somebody asking Kyle a question, and he's actually asking the question for a second time, okay? He went up to Kyle and said, "Hey, I remember you told me this at another function at the Red Lion, probably the one in Jansen Beach, which is a very common place for functions to happen in the Portland area, okay? So I added this in here so you guys know that not only has Kyle given the advice that he is about to give this time, he's given it multiple times to multiple people. There are multiple people in this circle. I'm fired up just because I already know what's going on. So let's get to it. Oh, and did you guys catch that little bit of a last part? The person who's asking the question was like, I love my guys, but I know that they're not going to be all in, which kind of goes against all of the advice that we've been given, right? Like we need to believe in our downline more than they believe in ourselves. But then we're also going to talk about how we know they're not going to be all in. We know they're going to get lazy. We know that they're going to do all of the things that we are not supposed to be doing in worldwide, like taking naps, watching TV, or I don't know, fucking living normal lives. I just had to add that in there just because, it's really contradictory.
So the, the four steps for anybody here. These are duplicatable. Always check Upline, of course.
Yeah.
But the 4 steps are: number 1, you make an emotional decision. It's an all or nothing decision, right? You have to be there. You got to be at moving up. Whatever it takes, I'm going to be there. It's emotional. You got to get super emotional about it. If you can't get emotional, you need to get a list of things that make you emotional, like.
Okay, so for everybody who doesn't know, Moving Up is basically this really big party retreat incentive for people who are double eagles and above. And what's funny is I recently learned that once you go to Moving Up, you have to pay for all of your accommodations. The way that they talk about Moving Up to us is like it's this big party that everybody, like, we get to be there. We earned it, and we like it's paid for, basically, is what we all thought. But no, you have to pay for your room. You have to pay for your transportation. You have to pay for your stay. You have to pay for everything when it comes to Moving Up, right? And that's fucking expensive stuff. So with that in mind, I just couldn't believe how heavily they pushed Moving Up. But basically, it's where you get to hang out with all of your upline. Like, the club owner was going to be there. The Syrian guy was going to be there. Kyle Higgins was going to be there, and Ty Rostrom and Ann were going to be there, and the Crown guy was going to be there. And essentially, it's just like this big push to go double eagle, right? To have your 12 people in your width. And what is he saying? He's saying find your reason why you're going to do it and decide that you're going to do whatever it takes to get there, which all of this is so unrealistic. But let's get to the next parts.
Number 2 is a completely unemotional work ethic, right? You don't get tired.
Heck no.
Yep, your tire goes flat. You get 4 fake charges pressed against you. What else happened?
Did y'all hear that? I know we all heard that correctly. And he just tried to brush past it as if it was nothing. He's trying to desensitize us to these things, okay? So here's the juiciest shit I've heard that I really wish I would have known before I was ever in a organization like Worldwide Dream Builders, let alone in a downline looking up to somebody like Kyle Higgins. So in 2013, this is all public information. I will be linking the article on my Instagram and all of my different social medias so you guys can read about it. But in 2013, Kyle Higgins in the Portland area had pled guilty to running an illegal Ponzi scheme. Okay, this guy, he pled guilty and would go on to testify against his co-conspirator with this Ponzi scheme. Okay, this happened in Washington County in Oregon. There is an article posted on March 22nd of 2013, and it actually has Kyle's mugshot right there. It's so funny because the first looked this guy up, it was after I received this audio, right? The person really didn't give me a whole lot of information. And I was like, oh, I haven't heard that name in a long time. And then I realized, oh, wait, he's in my upline. I remember him. So I type in his name into Google just because I'm curious. And the first thing that pops up is this article about him. He was in an investigation, and basically they found enough evidence to charge Kyle Higgins, right? He was 28 at the time, and this was before he was a part of Worldwide, but not too long beforehand. Okay. So basically, there were more than like 20 victims a part of this Ponzi scheme that him and this guy were running, that he pled guilty to, and that the guy was found guilty of as well. I can't pronounce the other guy's last name, but I believe that his name was Clifford. It was his first name. P is the last time. Pewterbot, possibly that's how you pronounce it. But it was a total of like $119,000 from investors who had hoped the investments would pay for medical treatments. Okay. It is insane. So the charges against this Peterbaugh guy, Clifford, right, were aggravated first degree theft, racketeering, unlicensed security, transaction fraudulent securities, and selling fraudulent unlicensed securities. Okay. So Kyle Higgins, he pled guilty to one count of an attempted sale of securities by an unlicensed person, and he would go on to testify against Clifford in the case, right? So Kyle was sentenced to 5 years of probation and ordered to pay $130,000 in restitution plus fees, fines, and assessments. Okay. Also, Kyle Higgins was to have no contact with the victims or his co-defendant, and he was supposed to testify against this guy. Okay. This is all listed in this Oregon Live article that I will be posting. Okay. So it's funny that he was on probation during this audio clip that I am posting to you guys right now. Okay. This was taken in 2016. Okay. And not only that, he was supposed to be on probation through to 2018, which means he found his way into yet another alleged pyramid scheme. Okay. It's no wonder that somebody like Kyle Higgins is fantastic at this business. He's a good talker. He's good at manipulating people. And he has a prior history of running an illegal Ponzi scheme. Like, that's quite literally something that is in this article. This is public knowledge. Okay. Ponzi scheme suspect pleads guilty in Washington County. That is Kyle Higgins. I cannot believe this. When I saw this article, I was dumbfounded. Okay, we talk about doing a vetting process, finding people who are qualified, but then they say things like from Yale to jail, you guys. And this would be different if maybe Kyle was doing something different in his life and he was actually working to change himself. This is bullshit, okay? Because this guy is doing the exact same thing, but within Worldwide. And wait till you hear the rest of the advice that he gives, because oh boy, does it check out.
Number 3 is you track everything. So you have a list. We use something called a matrix, but you just have a list of how far you have to go till your eagle, right?
Okay, track everything. Seems innocent enough, right?
So here it is. These are the last 4. Guys, if you're recording this, absolutely check with your upline. This is not what Worldwide necessarily teaches. This is what we teach. Okay, here we go. This is Altai-Rustrum. All right, so, no, I'm just kidding. We teach 4 additional things. Number 1 is have cash on hand. Have over $1,000, really over $2,000 ready to go, cash. Here's what you do. How many legs away are you right now? 4. So you add up how much money that's going to cost you if you miss it, because you're going to buy it, right? Now, I'm not saying you buy it. I'm saying you measure how much it would cost if you had to buy it, because if you're on my team, you would buy it. And then you would say, okay, I got another leg. So you minus that from the grand total. See that? So the money motivates you, because you don't want to lose that $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. So you have it up on a whiteboard. Because my guys were going to go double eagle no matter what. They were going to buy it if they had to. Forget all that organic stuff. They want to be there, right? They're going to spend $4,000 if that's what it takes. Does that make sense? They're business owners. But he put that money up there. It scared him, so he worked down from there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Check Upline before doing anything like that. That's what Amway actually teaches, though. It's weird. Okay, so you go to Amway and they teach you to buy legs. It's the weirdest thing. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I was like, really, Amway? Okay, all the things we're told not to do. Okay.
There it is. There it is. Right there. It's so crazy. And nobody questioned anything. This was recorded and it was taken as advice, as sound advice, right? So he tells you to add up your whole downline, right? So if you guys don't remember, we had to purchase what was called a Ditto, which was our monthly products, okay? We were not taught during this time, we were not taught to sell anything, okay? We were taught to buy it. So let's say you're going to buy your entire Eagle ship, okay? Let's say that's $600 a month, and that's on the low end, okay? That's on the low end. So you times that by 6, That's $3,600, but you also have to include your $600, okay? So that's $4,200 it would cost somebody to buy an entire Eagle ship, right? So he's basically saying once you add a leg, you subtract their total from your total. So if you add a person, that's now $3,600 you have to spend, so on and so forth. And what did he say, you guys? He said that his downline were going to buy it regardless. They were, quote, gonna be there. They weren't gonna do that organic stuff. They weren't gonna build it naturally. And what does he say at the very end, you guys? What'd you hear? Yeah, he said that Amway teaches that. He said that, okay, Amway, you're taught to buy legs. What the? I don't think that that's a thing. And if it is, Amway, you got some explaining to do, because I'm pretty sure this is on your terms and conditions, that this is against what you guys teach. I think this is illegal. Okay. It sounds to me like a wholesale buying club, like a Ponzi scheme, like a pyramid scheme. There is no trading of services here, products or services. You're buying the products. Your downline is buying the products. You're hoarding all of these products and just doing it again and again on a monthly basis, assuming that Amway is going to be the one that gives you all your money and your bonuses. That's not true. Okay, that's not true at all. What actually happens is once you go platinum and you hit Q12, which means that you have been a qualifying platinum for all 12 months of the year, that's when you start receiving a percentage from Worldwide Dream Builders or Worldwide Group, percentages on the apps, the memberships, and you start getting paid to speak at functions. Not only that, I've heard, allegedly, that platinums and above don't have to pay for their tickets to functions either. It's so crazy to me, all of the deceptive things that people were listening to and really not doing their research on, purely because we were taught not to. Don't do your research, you guys. Don't go look it up on Reddit. Don't talk to the haters. Don't listen to the haters. And what's crazy is after I found this information out, I actually reached out to Craig on Instagram. And I said, hey, listen, so I apologize, because when he had reached out to me, I had basically just sent him a peace sign emoji and sent him the link to my podcast episode with Jess. And I was like, whatever, I left it at that. Well, I started to look at this information. I'm like, well, does he know? Okay. So I reached out to him on Instagram and I was like, hey, I just wish I would have known that platinums and above were getting paid on our memberships. I wish I would have known that Kyle Higgins had pled guilty to being a part of a Ponzi scheme. And I really wish I would have known that what we were doing was not legal or ethical. And no response. So unfortunately, it sounds like Jenny and Craig are still very actively being victimized by this organization and continuing to victimize other people. It is an unfortunate cycle, but that is reality. They brainwash you, you guys. You really are taught that you have nothing better. This is your end all be all. Even though your upline is going nowhere, even though you are going nowhere, you are broke as hell. They're still staying around. And I don't know how. It's very manipulative. And some people, I guess, are just in too deep. But hearing all of this just totally checks out from somebody like Kyle Higgins, now knowing what I know about him. And during his vetting process, they knew. He wasn't afraid to outright say, oh, I had 4 faulty charges against me, 4 fake charges, 4 false charges, right? But yet he pled guilty to being a part of this Ponzi scheme. Okay, if you're not guilty, you don't plead guilty. Okay, but apparently they had enough evidence against this guy for him to be like, okay, no, I was a part of that, and I'm going to plead guilty against my co-defendant here. So it's really interesting to hear this, but I'm pretty sure Amway doesn't teach this. And again, like I said, if they are teaching this behind the scenes to platinums and above, who are then going on to teach it to their teams, I want to know what the fuck's going on. Okay, but you guys, I'm just so baffled by all of this. It's so crazy to me.
Number 2 is you do gotta invent a new level of ridiculous work ethic where it's like we called it transcending your physical body, right? We said you're gonna work so hard this month, 15 days, you're gonna transcend your physical body because there's times you're not gonna sleep for a couple days. And what we did is now what does that mean? This is gonna check with your upline before you check into the law of attraction and metaphysics. What we believed is that whatever we believed, reality was going to bend to it. So we said we're going to transcend physics and put together 10 new width in 15 days. Okay? That's impossible to the normal person that believes in science. So I looked him in the eye. I go, are you willing to do whatever it takes? He said, yes. I go, you have to stop believing in science. You have to stop. You have to believe 10 legs is possible. I go, are you okay with that? He goes, I don't know. I said, you have to be okay with believing that the impossible is possible. Yeah. Had 65 guests to one plant at one time.
Okay, so This just sounds insane to me. He's using a lot of big words to sound really smart, but essentially all he's saying is that you're going to give yourself 10 days and you're going to get a new person every single day and you're not going to give up until you do that. And they always say, well, the law of attraction, and whether you believe in the law of attraction or not, I know that there are people out there who do and who don't, and there's varying beliefs when it comes to that. But it's really interesting because they always talk about a third, a third, a third, right? So a third of the people that you talk to are going to bail. They want nothing to do with you. A third of the people are going to say, I'm kind of interested. And the remaining third are actually going to do the work, right? So in order to get 10 people in 10 days, that guy has to talk to like 300 people. And they're claiming that the guy that they're talking about who was going to work really, really hard and had to believe him, supposedly he made like 25 calls a day and actually like built his within 10 days. I don't buy it. I can't, of course, speak to whether or not it's real. But then also at the tail end, he said somebody brings 65 people to one board plan. That would be the club owner is who he's talking about. And I do not believe this at all. This sounds like something that he has already had prepared in his head as some sort of dialogue that he already knew, okay, I'm going to insert this when it's appropriate. You're going to transcend, you're going to believe. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about, sir? What the hell are you actually saying? Are you telling me I have to talk to 300 people in 10 days? Fucking tell me that then. Oh, we're going to transcend the law of attraction. You have to believe. You can't believe in science. It just sounds so loony hearing back that at one point I thought this was pure wisdom.
If a tree falls in the woods, oh, I can't believe this is going on recording. If a tree, this pisses my guys off. If a tree falls in the woods and you're not around to hear it, does it make a sound? What do you say? She says yes. She went through the school system. Okay, who else? I'm gonna say
repeat
yes
that again.
because
Repeat
she
that
said
again.
yes. She says yes. Hey, if a tree falls in the woods and you're not around to hear it, does it make a sound? You say yes. You say no?
Not to you.
Okay, not to us, I guess.
Answer the question. No pressure.
It's okay. There's no right answer. There is, but I don't want you to feel pressure. Okay, ready?
Yes.
According to metaphysics, there is no tree and there is no forest because your reality is all that exists. I'm only standing in front of you as a tool. I'm not even a real person. I'm here to answer a question for you. You might not ever see me again. So there is no tree. Your tree that you invent, your double ego ship you're talking about is something that's invented here and then it's going to go here. That's what it is. It starts here and then it goes out here. There is no double ego ship. You're creating it inside of you right now. And if you believe it with all your heart, the world has to. The world will. And that's how we took over Portland. The homeless kid had 20 people to move it up. The felon had 20 people to move it up.
That was a whole long-winded nothing burger, essentially, was all that was. He's saying this shit to sound smart and full of wisdom, and yet none of that makes sense. And I love how he insults the person who's like, the tree makes a sound. Oh, yeah, you went through the public school system. Haha. Oh, there is no right answer. Oh, wait, yeah, there is. Just no pressure. Like, the way that he's talking down to people is so insane to me because we accept it. Like that's just what we needed in that moment to hear from a platinum upline. I mean, he went platinum, he did it, right? Why wouldn't we trust him? Why wouldn't we believe in him, right? And then at the very end, he says the homeless guy brought X people to moving up. Again, this incentive where double eagles only and above can go, right? And then he says the felon. He's talking about himself, you guys. He is a convicted felon. He pled guilty to these charges that are felony charges. Okay. It's crazy that this was just brushed over. He says it, he sprinkles the truth in there, but he says it in a way that's very desensitizing. So that way we just kind of like, oh, well, he's willing to admit it. And honestly, I never knew this. I never once knew this about Kyle Higgins. And now that I know it, it all makes sense to me. All of this information that he's throwing out there is all bullshit. And he's just saying what he can to sound as if he knows what the hell he's talking about when he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. In all reality, he's just saying, hey, continue scamming people and you'll get there one day.
Wow. It starts here. It starts here. It starts here. And then this is created. This was all an idea. That was an idea in someone's head. Worldwide was an idea in Ron Perer's head. So if you decide, you will. Nothing physical can stop you. Let us be your example.
Yep.
We did it sloppy and ugly. You're going to do it a lot better we did. You're a protege of Ty Rustrom. We were a protege of wild hormones and but whatever you create in your heart will change the world. Just like Martin Luther King, just like Gandhi, and just like Mother Teresa. All of them didn't stand a chance, but they created something, and the whole world bent and laid down for them. And that's how the world works.
All right, you guys, it's crazy to think that that's what we were listening to. It's that kind of talk that kept us around for as long as it did. That's the kind of communication that we were hearing on Kate, on audios, and being fed 24/7, constantly being told, don't do your research. You will get there. We're helping people. You are like Mother Teresa, Gandhi, Martin Luther King, etc. And then we would use examples like Gary Vaynerchuk and the McDonald's guy, Ray Kroc. And, we were taught to believe that that's how we were being. And yet, in all reality, if you do your research on these people, they're not all like fantastic people, okay? Ray Kroc stole McDonald's from the McDonald's brothers, as I perceived it when I did my research, as well as Gary Vaynerchuk is heavily involved in cryptocurrency, which I guess you could view cryptocurrency your own way, whatever you view it as. I personally do not think that cryptocurrency is anything more than just a scam. That's my own personal opinion. Can't say that he's scamming people or not. I have no proof, but that's my own personal opinion. Okay. So this is insane to me, just kind of looking back and really hearing this stuff that was being taught to us. I am just baffled. And I really don't have much more to say other than I'm really disappointed in, and not just myself for believing these kinds of things, but for the people who allowed Kyle Higgins to speak into us. Okay. Kyle Higgins pled guilty to being a part of a Ponzi scheme. Okay. His co-defendant got like 7 years prison time because of all of his different charges that he actually was found guilty of. And when I read the list of charges that this this Clifford guy was accused of, oh my gosh, it is long. I had to keep scrolling. But nevertheless, I do believe people can change. However, if you're continuing to scam people this way, I refuse to believe that you have changed. And what's going on here? Kyle Higgins is continuing to scam people, and he's being allowed to because of organizations like Worldwide Dream Builders that has no checks and balances. These MLMs do not have checks and balances. I'm so sick of these people considering themselves educators when they are not. I'm sorry, but your MLM conference does not qualify you to be an educator on anything, whether it's finances or wellness or whatever it happens to be. Okay. So, with that being said, you guys, I really appreciate you guys for listening. Sorry that this episode was out a little bit late, but nevertheless, I am so grateful for everybody who has sent me information. And if you guys still have more information, please feel free to send it. I would be happy to react to it and even just to listen to your story. If you guys want to come here, share a story, please DM me on Instagram at exesandt.podcast. You guys can also email me at dani@exesandtpodcast.com. You guys can find me on YouTube. You guys can find me on Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts, anywhere else podcasts are heard. We'll catch you guys on the next episode.